The screen reflection shakes on the library table as my hands hover over the trackpad. The cursor stuttering like it knows what I'm afraid to see. It's almost midnight, the quiet hour when trust feels louder than footsteps, and I'm alone with a laptop that suddenly feels like a stranger. A folder I never made sits on my desktop, named after me, bold and smug. I click. Screenshots blossom like bruises, my messages, draft essays, even my camera lit for seconds I never noticed. My breath turns thin. Ethan's hoodie is still draped over the chair from our earlier study sprint, a friendly flag on enemy ground. For weeks he fixed, tuned, updated, always helpful, always near. I thought I'd found a partner. Now every helpful click lands like a hand on my shoulder. If trust is a door, I hear the hinges cry. What did he take? How long has he been inside my life? And what will it cost me to pull him out? 3 questions claw the dark. What secret made me worth watching? How much of me lives on his hard drive? When justice stares back, will I blink? By morning, the rain smell has turned the dorm hallway into a tunnel of damp secrets. I replay last night like a bad tutorial. Step 1, trust. Step 2, access. Step 3, silence. Ethan's voice from 100 study sessions echoes in my head. Gentle, sure, knowing. He was always one step ahead, stitching shortcuts, saving me time, making me think the wins were mine. Now every shortcut looks like a trap he placed just right. I hear Amira stirring behind our door, and shame flares hot because I didn't see it. Because I called him a friend. I picture his hands on my keyboard, casual and certain, leaving something behind that learned my habits better than I ever could. The word proof rattles me. If I'm going to fight this, I need more than fear. I need to see the code that watched me breathe. Amira listens without interrupting, then sets her jaw the way she does before exams. We're not guessing, she says. We're checking. She pulls her own laptop, mirrors my screen, and the room becomes a small command center. The hum of fans, the click of keys, the drumbeat of our anger. We search recent installs, look for strange daemons, scan login items. When the list blooms with a bland name that doesn't belong, my heart goes loud. Amira copies the path and opens the package like a locked drawer. Inside, launch scripts, screen capture code, a folder tagged with dates that map my semester like a trail. Heat rises to my cheeks, not from fear now, but from clarity. He wanted data. He wanted control. He wanted me to thank him while he took it. Amira's hand finds my shoulder. We save everything. We take a breath and name the thing. A service with a harmless title tucked under system tools, set to run at login. My stomach flips as the script shows triggers. When the camera wakes, when certain apps open when idle time ends. It's not sloppy, it's careful. He wasn't curious. He was consistent. I imagine him watching patterns, finding windows when I was most open. Notes I wrote to myself. Calls with my mom. The draft of a personal statement I never shared. The screen blurs and sharpens again. I want to smash the laptop. But Amira shakes her head. Not yet. We take screenshots, copy logs, and dump the payload into a safe drive. The room feels smaller, but for the first time since last night, I feel larger than the fear. We are building proof, line by line. Campus wakes outside, wheels on wet pavement, laughter too bright for the storm inside my chest. A message from Ethan blinks. Coffee before class. Like nothing is broken. I stare at the dots while Amira says, yes, meet him, but not alone. The plan builds itself. Keep my voice calm, keep my hands steady, keep recording. We'll get him on his words. In my mind, I replay the first week we met, the way he charmed our study group by fixing a projector with 2 keystrokes, how I felt grateful. I'm tired of being grateful for things that cost me. I slip a tiny sticker over the webcam, a small armor. I want run, Not from my life, not from my laptop, not from the person who thought I wouldn't fight back. The cafe hums like a beehive. But every sound funnels into a thin whistle in my ear. He's already there by the window, steam curling from 2 cups he ordered without asking, as if preferences are permanent, as if trust is a flavor you can memorize. I sit across from him and feel the table tilt, the world sliding to the side where his smile lives. He asks about my morning, my project, my sleep, each question smooth as river stones, and I hear what he is really saying. I'm still inside your life. I keep my voice still, my palms flat, the recording app pulsing under the table on my phone. He mentions a glitch in my code I never told him about, and my heart knocks once. I ask how he knew, and he laughs, light and easy, like I'm silly for asking. I watch the way his eyes land on my laptop bag. It's not love, it's ownership, pretending to be care. I sip the coffee. I nod. I wait. He tells a story about our first group project, how he saved me from a corrupt repo, and I play along, letting the memory walk on its own legs until it shows the limp I ignored. He speaks in we, our code, our workflow, our wins, like we're a single account with one password. I ask about the weekend, a small detour. He offers details I didn't post anywhere, a slip that lands like a stone in still water. My phone buzzes with a message from the roommate chat. A Myra's thumbs up, a quiet lighthouse. I steer the talk to tools, to updates, to that time my laptop crashed. He lights up, eager to explain, eager to teach. I let him. The words pour out. Scripts, permissions, hotkeys he set for me. Casual confessions wrapped in convenience. I smile like I'm grateful. I lower my eyes so he can mistake it for trust. Under the table, my finger taps say, "We pack up." He reaches for my bag with the same muscle memory that made me mistake habit for kindness, and I let the moment breathe until it shows its true face. I thank him for the fixes, for the shortcuts, for all the time he saved me, and watch his shoulders settle, pride smoothing out the edges. Then I ask for specifics. What script did he use that day in the library? The pause is small, a hairline crack, but it travels fast. He masks it with a joke, says I never cared about the tech before. I say, I'm learning. The word sits heavy between us. He shrugs, rattles off something vague, and I feel the shape of a lie, soft and warm, trying to pass as comfort. We step into the hallway where the world widens and the air is cooler, and I see Amira waiting by the bulletin board, her face steady. I feel my spine find its place again. We detour to the lab under the claim of printing notes. The room is empty, humming like a held breath. I set my laptop down and ask him to show me that tweak he mentioned, the one that made everything faster. He moves behind my chair, close enough for the air to tighten. His hands hover over my keys like they remember the map by heart. Amir slips in, casual, a hello tossed like a coin. I angle my screen, open the utilities window I prepared earlier, and watch for the tell. He suggests a quick permission change. I click a different path and wait. His voice sharpens, then smooths again. The cursor drifts over a hidden folder and stops, a moth drawn to a light he thinks I can't see. I look up at him and say, "Teach me." He swallows. His reflection on the black screen is not a friend's. It happens softly. I ask if he ever installed helpers on my account without telling me, and he answers no before the question fully lands, too quick to be careful. I open a log we saved this morning. One entry highlighted, tonight's date staring back at him like a mirror. His jaw tenses. The room contracts. He says it's nothing. A diagnostic, a leftover from a class repo. My heartbeat is steady now. A metronome for truth. I tell him I'm filing a report, that I've backed up everything, that I'm done letting someone else narrate my life. He laughs, short and brittle. The sound a door that won't close. Amira steps beside me, quiet gravity. I see the tiniest tremor in his eye, a blink he can't smooth. I close the laptop. The chair's legs scrape like a line under the scene. Outside, a siren passes. Inside, he finally runs out of words. The day moves like a slow loading page, each class a spinning wheel that never quite finishes. I keep feeling the tug of something behind me, like a draft that slips under a door you thought was closed. In the lab, my cursor lags half a second, then jumps ahead like it knows the path better than I do. A file I named with a private joke, one I've never said out loud, shows up in a shared folder. I stare at the screen until the letters feel false. My friends talk around me about midterms and coffee deals and weekend plans. I nod in the right places and write nothing I wouldn't put on a billboard. My laptop is open, but my trust is zipped shut. I catch the webcam in the corner of my eye and imagine it hovering at the edge of waking, waiting for an excuse to blink. I angle the lid lower, as if light alone could shield. I tell myself I'm not scared. I'm preparing. By evening, I decide to live inside the evidence. I go line by line through the logs we saved, marking patterns the way you track a storm. Times when I'm most likely to open certain apps, moments the camera woke for a breath and went still again. Screen captures that look like simple mistakes but repeat on a schedule. The rhythm tells a story I don't want to read, but I keep turning pages because truth needs light, not comfort. Amira sits beside me, a quiet anchor, asking short questions that keep me from slipping into anger. Every answer leads to another thread, and soon the threads make a net. I remember the first time I handed him my laptop without thinking. A tiny trust I threw like a coin into a well. Now I hear the echo of that drop. It's not endless. It hits something hard at the bottom. I label folders with names that mean nothing to anyone but me, and save them twice. The group chat explodes over a rumor about the upcoming hackathon, and in the rush of replies someone quotes a line from my private draft, right down to the typo I promised myself I'd fix later. My stomach flips. I scroll deeper and see a helpful hint that only exists in my notes, stitched into the thread by a nameless account that looks new and clean. I can hear Ethan's voice in my head explaining good OPSEC like a joke, telling people to keep their keys safe. I feel heat in my cheeks. Not shy, not shame, just a rising line I will not let fall again. I take a screenshot, then another. I cross-check timestamps. I save the raw files and back them up to the drive. Amira sends me a single word, documented. It lands like a rung on a ladder in a dark well. I climb. I'm not going to let this sink me. Not when I can turn it into air. Sleep dodges me. Every time I close my eyes, I see the webcam's faint eye. See folders open like quiet mouths. So I do the thing I can control. I build a clean space, a fresh user, a locked drive. I list steps in plain language, the way you teach yourself to breathe during a storm. When the new desktop blinks awake, blank as fresh snow, I feel a small click inside. Not joy, but a gear finding its teeth. Amira checks my settings, double taps the firewall rules, and smiles in that careful way that says I'm with you. Keep going. I rename the old account and strip it down until it's an empty shell we can study without fear. The fans hush. The room softens. The rhythm in my chest starts to match the quiet hum of the machine. I set a sticky note on the bezel. You're not the problem. It looks small. It feels right. Morning brings a brighter sky and a colder resolve. I walk across the quad and feel the distance between who I was at the start of the semester and who I am now. My hands don't shake when I open my laptop on the bench. My breath doesn't race when I see the camera icon in the menu bar. I switch to the clean space and launch the tools we built, one by one, like lighting small lanterns along a path. A message from Ethan slides in, light, familiar, like a song from earlier in the year. I let it sit unread. I'm not here to trade lines. I'm here to finish the map and choose the exit. Amira texts that she booked time with the dean's office for tomorrow. The word tomorrow holds steady in my mouth. I look up and see students crossing, lives busy and ordinary. I close the lid and stand up. I don't want my life back the way it was. I want it mine. We start with fresh eyes and steady hands. Amira sets a timer and says we work in small steps. No panic, no skipping. I mirror her pace. We open the hidden folder again, not as victims this time, but as people who can read a map. The files sit in rows like teeth. I click one. A script opens in plain text. It's simple, almost friendly. Watch, copy, send. The words feel small for the harm they do. I trace each line with the careful focus I use in exams, and I feel something change under my ribs. I am not looking for a miracle. I am building a case. We follow the path to a launch agent, then to a plist that wakes on login, a shadow that stands up when I do. I picture the moment he slipped this into my life, the easy smile, the soft voice that made me say yes. I don't need to imagine his face anymore. The code is the face. The code is enough. The log file opens like a diary that isn't mine. Timestamps climb the screen, each line a heartbeat I didn't know was recorded. I search the dates without meaning to. Midnight after a long call home, the morning I cried and told no one. The night I wrote about the scholarship and erased it. My throat tightens, then settles. I will not give those nights away again. Amira reads out patterns, steady and clear, and I mark them in a table. Trigger, capture, upload, repeat. Every cycle ends with a small push to a private address that only a careful person would notice. I hover over the string and copy it. My hand shakes once. I let it pass through me like a wave and keep working. This is not the part where I break. This is the part where I see. The camera never needed my smile. The code never needed my permission. But my voice can name what happened. We dig into the capture folder. The first image is a frozen frame of me leaning close to the screen, tired and soft, the kind of face you only make when you think you are alone. I breathe out, slow. Amira's hand lands on my shoulder with a light press that says, "I'm here. Keep going." We take copies. We hash the files. We save checksums like signatures no one can argue with. Then a text file opens with a string that maps keys to letters, a simple net with sharp edges. I follow the path back to an installer, stamped with the day he fixed my crash. The name is nothing. A bland label that hides in plain sight. I don't cry. Not this time. I list the findings, one by one, in the kind of voice I use when I need the room to hear me. It fills the space. The fans whir. The rain softens. Proof sits between us, solid and cold and real. We follow the trail back to the moment the door opened. The installer's timestamp sits like a pin on a map, the night in the library when he asked for 10 minutes and I gave him the whole hour. I remember the way he joked about my slow boot time, the way he leaned in close so the world felt smaller and safe. The memory tries to turn into blame. I point at myself. I refuse it. I am allowed to trust. He chose to break it. We document the metadata. We list the checks. We screen record the path, so the story holds, even if the files vanish. Amira reads the steps out loud as I click, her voice a simple drum that keeps me moving. When we reach the end, there's a small silence. It isn't empty. It's the sound of the truth catching up with us and sitting down. I save the recording. I save it twice. We package everything. Logs, screenshots, hashes, the screen recording, the notes. I write a plain summary with no extra words, only what the files can carry. Amira reviews it and nods. For a moment, I feel the weight of the whole semester pressed down, the missed sleep, the second guessing, the way I made myself small to fit inside someone else's comfort. I let the feeling pass through and out like breath on a cold window. A message from Ethan pops up, bright and friendly, asking if I'm free later. I watch the bubble fade. I'm done answering questions I didn't choose. I shut the lid and hold it there, not as a shield, but as a line. Tomorrow we meet the dean. Tonight I take back the quiet. I turn off the lamp. The room goes soft and dark. For the first time in weeks, the darkness belongs to me. Morning crawls in gray and cold, the kind that smells like rain before it falls. Amira and I walk toward the administration building. Folders pressed to our chests like shields. My laptop feels heavier than it should. Every bite of proof packed inside like a heartbeat. The campus looks the same. Students rushing, coffee cups, earbuds, but my world is sharper now. Edges I can finally see. We take the side entrance, the one lined with posters about academic integrity, the irony almost cruel. I expect my hands to shake, but they don't. The only tremor comes from my breath when I picture Ethan's face as the truth unspools. I remind myself this isn't revenge. This is release. Amira squeezes my arm once before we step through the glass doors. She doesn't say, "You've got this." She just nods, and that's enough. The dean's office smells like paper and sanitizer. Certificates line the wall, smiling proof of fairness that suddenly feels fragile. We sit across from her as Amira starts the story, steady and clear. I slide the flash drive forward like a confession made of metal. The dean watches us without blinking, eyes tracing the folders, the notes, the logs. When she opens one video, her brow hardens, and I realize this is the first time someone outside my world will see what was taken. I wait for anger or pity, but she only says, "You did the right thing." The words land heavy. Not comfort, not closure, but a gate opening. She asks for copies. We give her everything. Outside, my pulse slows to something steady. For the first time, I'm not the one being observed. I'm the one watching the story change shape. When we step back into the hallway, it feels like sunlight for the first time in weeks, even though the sky is still gray. My body remembers how to breathe in full measure. Amira grins, small, proud, and I know she's been holding her fear for me all along. My phone buzzes, a message from Ethan. "Can we talk?" I almost laugh at how small it looks, how much power used to live inside those words. I delete it without reading further. It feels like deleting a ghost. Students drift past, heads down, unaware that someone's silence just became my loudest sentence. The air smells of wet concrete and freedom. I never thought freedom would be so quiet. The news spreads faster than whispers. I don't need to say a word. The code, the files, the screenshots speak louder than anything I could post. By afternoon, people look at me differently. Not with pity, but with recognition. Like I broke a lock they didn't know was there. Ethan stops showing up to class. A notice appears on the department board. Investigation pending. I take a photo of it, not for proof, but for memory. I want to remember what standing up looks like. Amira laughs when she sees me smile. "It's over," she says, but I shake my head. It's not over. It's just honest now. That night, I sit by the campus fountain, watching reflections tremble on the water. My laptop rests on my knees. A different machine now. Same metal, new trust. I open a blank document and type. Confession isn't weakness. It's a beginning. The words stay there, plain and true. For months, I thought being watched made me smaller, but it made me sharper. The things I lost weren't my fault, but what I learned belongs to me entirely. I close the screen and let the sound of water cover the rest. Amira's voice calls from across the path, light and certain. I stand. Tomorrow, I'll start something new. Maybe a guide, maybe a story. Tonight, I just breathe. I don't need a camera to prove I exist. The dean's office emails me 2 days later. The subject line is short, case resolution. I open it slowly, the way you unwrap something fragile. The message is clinical, just a few sentences. The investigation confirmed the breach, disciplinary measures taken, academic suspension pending. I stare at the words until they blur, not from tears, but because the weight inside me is shifting. It's not triumph. It's quiet gravity, the sound of something heavy being set down for good. Amira reads over my shoulder and exhales the breath she's been holding since the night we found the first log. "You did it," she says softly. But I shake my head. We did it. My voice feels steady again, like it finally belongs to me. Word spreads fast. By noon, everyone knows. The whispers sound different this time. Not pity, not gossip, just awareness. People start asking quiet questions. How did I find out? What should they look for? The same students who once scrolled through screens without blinking now tape small squares over their webcams. I don't feel angry seeing it. I feel useful. Between classes, I post a short guide on the student forum. Simple steps, no blame, just how to check permissions, change settings, guard your data. Within an hour, it's pinned to the top. Notifications flood in. Thank you. I didn't know. This helped. For the first time, the same machine that trapped me becomes something I can use to free others. The department hosts a seminar on digital ethics, and I'm asked to speak. I almost say no. I'm not a symbol. I'm the student who got hurt. But Amira insists, not for recognition, but for closure. Standing at the front of the lecture hall, my hands tremble only once when I open my notes. I start simple. Trust isn't a weakness. It's a risk we take when we believe in each other. The room listens. I talk about awareness, about learning to look twice without losing kindness. When I finish, no one claps right away. They just sit, quiet, taking it in. Then the sound builds, not loud, but genuine. For a moment, I let it reach me. It doesn't fix everything, but it makes the space lighter. After the talk, students linger, asking about scripts, safety, and healing. One girl, nervous but brave, tells me she once felt watched too, but never had proof. I tell her she's not crazy, not overreacting, that her instincts are valid. Her shoulders drop like she's been carrying the same silence I did. That moment stays with me longer than any applause. When the room empties, I sit on the edge of the stage, laptop closed, hands resting on it like a pulse. Amira joins me, dropping a granola bar in my lap and saying, "Now eat. Hero work's over." We laugh, loud and real. The sound echoes through the hall, and for once, the echo doesn't sound like fear. That night, I walk home alone. Not afraid this time, but aware. Aware of lights, of wind, of my own rhythm in the quiet. My laptop hums in my backpack, a steady reminder that danger isn't gone, but I am no longer unarmed. I stop by the library where it all began. Through the glass, I see students studying, laughing softly, a version of me from months ago among them. I don't hate that girl anymore. She trusted because she believed people were good. Maybe that's not naive. Maybe it's brave. I turn away and smile at the night sky reflected in the window. The world is still watching. But now I'm watching back. The letter from the committee arrives on a quiet afternoon, dropped under our door with the softest thud, like the end of a long breath. I don't rush. I make tea. I sit on the floor. When I tear the envelope, the paper fibers sound like rain on leaves. And that feels right. Something washed clean. The words are careful and plain. Policy violated. Suspension enacted. Access revoked. I trace each sentence with my eyes and feel the heat in my chest fade to a steady warmth. I thought justice would be loud. It isn't. It's a door that closes with a gentle click and stays closed. Amira leans against the wall and grins in that way that says she already knew I could make it here. I think of the girl who believed every fix was a gift. I don't hate her. She is the reason. I know the shape of my own courage now. I fold the letter. I stand up. I set it by the window where the light can touch it. That night, I open a new document and title it with one small word: Guide. Not manifesto, not warning. Just a hand held out to the next person who thinks they are alone. I write in steps a tired brain can follow. Look here. Check this. Save that. Simple lines anyone can walk even in the dark. The work is slow, honest, and it keeps my hands busy while my mind clears. I tell stories without names, turning hurt into maps that lead back to safe ground. Amira reads over my shoulder, adding notes where my fear still speaks too loudly. We shape it until the page feels like a light you can carry in your pocket. I upload it with my real name. I don't want shadows anymore. I want the truth to have my face. When I click publish, the screen doesn't explode or sing. It just settles like a lake after a stone, ripples widening where I can't see. Weeks fold into a new routine. People stop me after class with questions that are softer than gossip and heavier than small talk. I learn to answer in plain words, to leave out the drama and keep the truth. Sometimes someone's voice shakes, and I feel the echo of my own first night in the library. That thin line between doubt and tell them. The line is a bridge, not a trap. Step carefully, but step. The campus begins to change in tiny ways. Stickers on webcams, stronger passwords, kinder eyes. I realize healing is not a single moment, but a row of small doors you learn to open one by one. On a bench near the quad, Amira reads my guide aloud to a first year who looks like she hasn't slept. I sit with them and breathe with them, and the world feels a size I can carry again. I meet with the professor who taught the class where Ethan and I first paired up. I expect tight smiles and careful words, but she listens the way good teachers do. Eyes steady, questions short, silence used as space instead of pressure. She says she'll change her policies. No. Quick fixes on other people's machines, clear consent steps before any shared work. She asks if I want my story mentioned when she explains why. I think about it, then nod. Not for attention, but for a reason that outlives my semester. When I leave her office, the hallway smells like dry paper and dust and a little like new paint. As if the building itself has decided to start again. I realize I don't need to be fearless. I only need to be present. That's enough to tip the balance from quiet harm to quiet safety. On the last evening before break, I return to the library. The same table waits under the same lamp, but the room feels different because I do. I open a new laptop, mine still, and press a small sticker over the camera. A quiet ritual that says I learned and I stayed. I write a final entry for myself, not for class, not for a forum. Trust is brave. Boundaries are brave too. I sign my name and close the lid. As I stand, I catch my reflection in the dark window, and just beside it, the ghost of that first night's fear. I raise my hand and wave it away, like steam from a cup. Outside, the rain starts again. Steady, gentle, clean. I step into it without hurrying, carrying nothing I didn't choose. The world is wide. My life is mine.